All right, we are live. Thank you, everybody, once again for tuning into another Blind Spot where we talk with blind athletes reaching excellence. Brought to you, as always, by the United States Association of Blind Athletes, where we are, can you believe it? We are celebrating our 45th year of existence, 45 years of helping people that are blind and visually impaired, live a healthy and productive, lives through physical activity, sport, recreation, all that good stuff. And guys, we are just, how many days? We are, just like a month and a half away from the Paralympics 2020 going to Tokyo. And as always, guys, we have been just red hot the last few weeks with interviewing our Goalball team athletes who have been named to the 2020 squads on both the men's and women's sides. And man, am I excited to talk with our guest today. This is going to be Paralympics number 4. And he is I would say he's probably the most grizzled, gutsy veteran. I'm tempted to just call him El Capitan, Mr. Tyler Merren. Tyler, welcome to the Blind Spot, man. How's it going?
Fan-freaking-tastic. Thanks for having me on, Kyle. I super appreciate it, dude.
Awesome, man. But hey, dude, let's just dive right in. I mean, you've been competing in goalball for a really, really long time. Obviously 4 Paralympics now. But let's go ahead and just get to know you a little bit. Tell us about your eye condition and how you found your way to the sport of goalball.
Yeah, for sure. So I was born in Southwest Michigan. Grew up in a really rural area. Actually grew up on a farm. And so had a lot of space to roam, stayed super active with, climbing trees and running trails and, riding bikes and all kinds of crazy stuff. And, my parents noticed something about me when I was a kid that was different from my siblings, from my cousins and neighbors. A few things that were a little bit odd, right? When I would look at somebody, I couldn't really look them directly in the eyes. My eyes would always kind of shift to the side a little bit. When we would be out at night, I would have a really hard time seeing. As soon as it started to get even like a little bit dim, like my vision would go really quickly. And so they said, this is kind of a weird thing, right? Like I bump into furniture all the time and things like that. So they took me in and found out that I had an underdeveloped retina and was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa. So it was kind of a strange situation because I had good enough vision that I could read plain text and see colors and things like that. So, I kind of went through my first years, up until I was about 13 or 14 years old, just kind of doing the normal thing. I wasn't really involved in the blindness community. Wasn't really, getting services or anything like that. I just kind of figured things out in a sense. And as I got older and my vision started getting worse and worse, that tunnel, that lack of peripheral vision started collapsing inward, started having more and more difficulty reading my books and things like that. That's when I really started digging into, okay, what are the options? My parents helped me look into learning how to use a cane, learning to read Braille. And it was about that time that I was introduced to adaptive sports. Like I said, always active. I grew up in a family of athletes. My dad played multiple sports. My sister played all seasons of sports. I loved playing basketball and things like that. So I went to this sports education camp at Western Michigan University, put on by Dr. Paul and Dr. Supancilla. And that's where we learned about being able to adapt sports like judo, track and field, wrestling, swimming, gymnastics, cycling. And that's where I learned goalball. And so the first time I ever played, they kind of showed me what to do. Like, here's a wing line. I remember I remember it pretty vividly. I played left wing, the very first game I ever played in. And funny enough, the very first time I played, one of the guys going to Tokyo with me, who you interviewed already, John Kusku, was on my team. He had been playing for a couple of years at this point, right? So he was very first game I ever played when I played left wing and he played center. And we got done with the game and he came over to me and was like, have you ever played this before? And I was like, no, not really. They just taught me how to do it. And he said, well, you're really good at it. I think they're going to ask you to go to Florida with us to compete on the youth team. And I was like, wow, you guys go all the way to Florida to play this game? Like I hadn't left Michigan, right? Like like I said, I grew up in a really rural area. Right. And it just kind of went from there, right? I started traveling with that youth team, really enjoyed it, got scouted by an adult team. So I started traveling with them around the States, and then the USA coaches kind of saw me competing. And after the 2000 Sydney Games, there were several members on the men's side who stepped away from USA Goalball. So had some openings and they were looking kind of for some new young talent. And I just so happened to be there and stepped in and haven't really looked back since.
Wow. So, I mean, so you've been playing this game for over, at this level now for, you said just after, I mean, so you're going on 20 plus years now of playing.
Yeah. May of 2001 was my first international tournament. Yeah. So there were a couple of seasons here and there that I stepped back, little time right after London, which, we didn't end up qualifying for those games, unfortunately, a little time after Rio. But yeah, pretty much for 20 years, I've been hanging out with the USA team, traveling and competing with them. Wow.
Dude, that's a long time. I mean,
it's a long time.
Yeah. And it's funny because, I was, chatting with our producer extraordinaire, Bill Kellick, before we went live, and he's like, yeah, Tyler doesn't look old enough to have 4 kids or have been competing in goalball for 20 years. I mean, dude, how do you, what's your daily and weekly training and self-care schedule like that allows you to, keep going at this level?
It's evolved over time, right? I think as any older athlete will recognize very quickly, like you have to get a little bit smarter about what you do. When I was 18 to 22 years old, it's not that I was bulletproof. I dealt with my fair share of injuries and stuff like that, but you heal up so much quicker. Your body is way more resilient. So what it kind of looks like now is I get up every morning and I have this kind of a routine for breakfast, and most of my nutrition stuff is very, very clean. So I eat a pretty heavy plant-based diet. I'm not totally vegan or totally vegetarian, but for the most part, it's a lot of anti-inflammatory foods, a lot of fruits and vegetables. I don't do a lot of dairy. I don't do a lot of meat. Just stuff that's going to keep the inflammation lower in my body, right? So I go through a routine of that. I smoothie every morning, some lemon water every morning, usually sweet potatoes and things like that, bananas, training regiment somewhere in there, depending on the day. It's hitting the court for a couple of hours. It's hitting the weight room for a couple of hours. And then, fueling before and after that, trying to keep enough calories in me. I have an app that I use to track my calorie intake, and typically to maintain my weight, I need to eat close to 4,500 to even up to 5,000 calories a day just to maintain my weight. And then in the evening, every night before I go to bed, I've got about a 30-minute foam rolling stretch routine that I do to try to stay limber and all of that as well. So there's a lot of maintenance that goes into it once you hit my stage of the career. But in some ways it's better, right? In some ways, like I feel better and more stable and stronger in some ways than I did, you know, when I was a kid, because I'm a lot smarter about it now than I was then, you know. So
For sure.
it takes some time. You know, just as a side note too, we also, you know, my family, my wife and my kids, we have a cancer history in our family. So my wife is totally blind as well. She lost her vision due to a childhood cancer, and it's a genetic trait. So we try to live a really clean lifestyle as well. You know, no synthetic chemicals in the house, and you know, limit that kind of exposure as much as possible. And I think that helps a lot. I think it unburdens the body a lot, and kind of helps me continue on. So
For sure. Oh, dude, that's awesome. And you know, if I remember correctly, I mean, you practice what you preach. I mean, you just outlined that you practice what you preach, but you're a personal trainer. You know, off the goalball court, you're in the process, or have developed some like fitness apps, you know, for people that are blind or visually impaired. You know, walk us through, you know, that, and like what got you interested in doing that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, you know, I think it's always a question of where did it all start, right? Like a lot of it can tie together, and I can lead you through the chain of events, but I think it really just starts from a basic need to move, right? Like I think I'm genetically programmed to be active. I like to get up. I like to move. I like my hands busy, you know, and I'm always doing something. And so, you know, like I said, ever since I was a kid, growing up on the farm, always running around, climbing trees, doing stuff, I've always just been really active. So that lent itself into sports. And as I picked up sports and realized, hey, you know, I'm kind of good at some of these. I enjoy doing them. It became a chase, right? It became a passion to kind of see, like, well, how good can I be at these? How far can I push my body? You know, what am I really capable of? So as a freshman in high school, right? And I was into sports a lot before that, but as a freshman in high school, one of the requirements was a PE course. And so I went to the administration of my high school and said, hey, you know, I could do this PE course and you know, struggle through it, but you know, things like volleyball and stuff are just going to be really tough for me to do. As a freshman, I know I'm not allowed to take the weight training class that's supposed to be like for upper class, but you know, can you make an exception, because this would cover my physical education credit, and it would make a lot more sense for me. And they said, yeah, sure, you can go ahead and do that. So as a freshman, I took a weight training class, and I really, really liked it. I came in as a freshman. I think I was 5'10" and like 135 pounds, 140, like, you know, I'm super lean, right? Like, a very, very lean dude. And put on some weight, put on some strength, really enjoyed it. And I saw that it really helped my game. So came back as a sophomore and said, hey, you know, I know you're only allowed to take that class once, but I really want to take it again. And they're like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, my school loved me. I was a good student, and they bent over backwards to help me. So long story short, I took weight training all 4 years. Nice. I graduated about 40 pounds heavier than when I was a freshman.
Wow.
Yeah. And I felt so good with it, and it made my game a lot better. And I thought, okay, you know, why not continue with this? So you know, I jumped into college and dabbled around with a couple of things, but ended up settling on this idea of like, well, why not learn about performance enhancement? Why not, you know, learn about exercise science and what that does? And so I got my bachelor's degree in exercise science, became a personal trainer, got certified in strength and conditioning, and just spent a number of years teaching people things that I had learned about fitness, about the body, and whether they're just a beginner person wanting to be healthy or an actual athlete, you know, wanting to improve their game. I worked with everybody. And what I found through that time is, as the USABA can certainly attest to, there's this gap, right, between people who are visually impaired and fitness. There's this divide that's really hard to bridge in a lot of circumstances. You know, weight training and exercising just in like a fitness center, is no exception. That can be really challenging for somebody who's visually impaired.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, my wife, who is also visually impaired, she's a very social person. She's on a lot of Facebook groups and things like that. I'd come home from work. I was working as a master trainer for 24-hour fitness in South Florida
Mm-hmm.
for a number of years. And I come home from work, she says, hey, so-and-so is on this group and they're asking about how to do exercising when they're visually impaired. Like you should get on there and try to help them. Right. And my typical answer was like, I just worked a 10-hour day. Like I'm not interested in teaching anybody fitness right now.
For sure.
But I knew that need was out there. So about a little over 2 years ago now, my company that I was working for, 24-hour fitness, they relocated the place where I was working. I've been working at the same gym for about 6 years,
Mm-hmm.
and they moved across town. So my 12-minute walk to work every day turned into a 2.5-hour bus ride. And I was like, this ain't gonna work.
Right.
So I took that as an opportunity, right? Love changing challenges to opportunities. I took it as an opportunity. I stepped away from 24-hour fitness. I created Revision Fitness. I'm sorry, Revision Training, LLC is the name of my company, and started developing the Revision Fitness program. So essentially what it is, it's a conglomeration of all of my experience as a blind athlete, as a personal trainer, my education as a bachelor in exercise science holder, and putting it all together into a program to try to teach people who are blind and visually impaired how to do fitness, right? Anything from correct posture, good body alignment, to complicated exercises and movements, squats, push-ups, Olympic lifts, things like that. So it's a program that I'm currently developing and looking to put out there to try to help people who are blind and visually impaired find the same passion with fitness that I've been able to find.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. You're so right. There's such a gap in, I mean, you and I are one of the same in that, fitness, exercise, all of that has brought us so much, joy and success. And speaking of that, like, let's talk a little bit about that. Like when, looking back over your, 20 plus year goalball career, your fitness career, all of that. What does success look like to you these days? And and we've all had setbacks and stuff. How have you been able to bounce back from those setbacks in order to achieve what you see as success?
Yeah, I feel like the answer to this question for me would have been very different 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even. Like
For sure.
It kind of evolves over time. I think as I get a little more experienced, a little wiser about life, right? And I think that for me, and this is something as one of my many hats that I wear, I do a lot of motivational speaking. So I present to groups about my story. I present different kind of bullet points to seeing the champion within yourself. And one of the things that I talk about, one of the key points that I talk about is seeking greatness within yourself. When we walked away from Rio with a silver medal, I think if you had told me a year before that, hey, you're going to go to Brazil and your team's going to win a silver medal and you're going to be really disappointed in that, I would have been like, you're crazy. That's awesome. I'm really pumped, right? Like, yeah. But you get so close, right? And you're right there and you make it to that gold medal match and you lose that final match. And like, I had to wrestle with this idea of what is success, right? We made it so close and we didn't quite grab that highest accolade. So what is success really about? And, as I pondered this and I thought about it and I looked back through the years, what I really came to conclude is that, it's not really about the color of the medal or even the fact that you have a medal. It's not about the plaques and the trophies. It's not about the rewards and the accolades. you know, those are really good things. And it's okay to aim for them, to fight for them. And it's okay to receive them. But if that's your focus, then you're missing it, right? So my definition of success is being better today than I was yesterday, and being better tomorrow than I am today. Always striving for some type of improvement in whatever it is that I'm doing, and always seeking to be the best that I can be. And then, you know, even one step beyond that, helping others do the same, which kind of drives me towards the projects and programs and speaking events that I do, right?
Yeah.
Because if I'm the most successful person in the world, that's great. But if that doesn't help anybody else out, then I'm a pretty selfish dude, right? So
For sure.
so that's kind of the way that I try to frame it each and every day. You know, yeah, I want to go to Tokyo and I want to win a gold medal. Period. End. Like I want to take home that highest prize.
Yeah.
But in any case, I see myself as being successful regardless of what happens.
Love it, dude. Love it. I mean, you've had this long, illustrious career. You've got, you know, this is going to be your fourth games. You've gotten a bronze medal. You've gotten a silver medal. You know, it's time to complete the sweep and grab the gold. But we've all had these major influencers, or, you know, people that have influenced us in, you know, in our lives and along the way. Who've been some of those people for you?
I think there's a little bit of an eclectic collection.
Yeah.
You know, I've had a few peers, guys like Joe Hamilton, John Kusku, friends of mine who, you know, when I was young, kind of stepped in, and when I was really trying to figure out what's this blindness thing all about, who kind of stepped in and said, dude, you're blind, get over it, let's go play some ball, you know, like, and framed it right, you know, like it's a challenge, but it's a thing, like roll forward in life, right?
Yeah.
Mentors like Dr. Paul Ponchilla, who, you know, put on the sports education camp, who kind of came out and said, and his story is really cool. He was a botanist, and lost his vision overnight in a hunting accident. I believe he was in his late 30s or early 40s, and turned around and got a PhD in blind rehab, you know, like totally blew the doors off of the statistics, right, of a situation like that. And even just working with him and learning about his struggles and his successes. You know, my wife, who helps me to be better each and every day. And I would say more than anything, my faith, right? I'm a believer, I'm a Christian. And so I think that my faith has shaped the way I look at things and how I define success and what I, you know, kind of strive for in life. So it's a pretty eclectic mix, I think, but
for sure.
A lot of really positive people that stepped in at the right times to kind of point me in the right direction.
That's awesome, man. Do you have a I mean, you've probably lost count of, you know, the number of matches and teammates that you've had over the years, but does a particular match, or do you have a particular memory that stands out to you over the course of, you know, the last 20 years or so, that you know, that I don't know, that help shape your outlook today, or that, you know, taught you a huge lesson, or just a favorite memory? You know, just you know, what would that be?
Yeah, no, you're right. There's so many things I could probably point to. One that I really like to go back to every now and then, long time ago, 2004, all the way back to Athens. So, you know, what was I, 20 years old. Our team's pretty young. We've gone through some changes, some adjustments, kind of a new coaching style. And we, you know, from Sydney, USA took 11th place in Sydney. We were not very necessarily very strong internationally by that point, but
Okay.
new coach came in, new athletes came in, and we're running pretty hot, right? We had come out pretty high in some tournaments, and so leading into the 2004 Athens Games, I still don't think any of the international teams are really taking us super seriously, but we came out fourth in our pool, beat the first place team in the crossovers to go into the finals.
Oh,
yeah. So the big upset, we made it in, unfortunately lost our semifinal match to Denmark, but we're in the bronze medal match against Canada. Two of our athletes were injured leading into these games, into the bronze medal match, unfortunately. Okay. So we have got 4 of our athletes, and one of them struggled a little bit, had a few penalties. Unfortunately, he'd been really, he had helped us a lot through the tournament and just struggled in that last game. So, we went into halftime of this game down 4-1. And so there's 3 guys left, essentially. Myself and 2 of my teammates. We're down 4-1, and we've got 10 minutes to try to make something happen here.
Yeah.
And so I had scored our 1 goal in the first half. So we start playing the second half. I scored a second goal, so it's 4-2. A few minutes later, one of my other teammates scores his first goal of the whole tournament to make it 4-3. And then a little bit while later, time's kind of winding down, I score another goal to make it 4-4, right? So it's tied up. We were able to fight back and maintain the score. So it's 4-4, 17 seconds left. And one of the Canadian players throws a high ball, gets a penalty.
Okay.
And so 17 seconds left, the score is tied, the ball's in my hands. I mean, movie script, right? Like,
yeah.
And so
pressure's on, man.
I get up and I block this ball that was penalty. So I'm holding on to the ball. I get up and I walk over to my teammate on the side, and we're exhausted, we're tired, but we're good, right? We're ready. We've been training super hard. I walk over to him and I'm like, "What do you think I should do?" And he said, "Just, do whatever you feel is right, man." And I was like, "Well, that didn't help very much, but I appreciate it anyway." Right? Like, thanks for not helping. And so, my dad's in the stands. He was able to go to those games with me. He's recording, and everybody's quiet, and we line up, and everybody's ready for this to happen. The referee calls play, and I bury the shot to make it 5-4, and then we hold them for the last throw to finish the game. And
wow,
I think I jumped 15 feet off the ground when that buzzer rang. Like, I was just so pumped. I got to carry the flag around the court, and
that's awesome.
Walked away with that bronze medal, just just barely walked away with it. And I think it stands out to me because of how cool it was to play it out that way. But it started my career as like you won't always win. You won't always be the best or anything like that, but you're pretty good at this and you can have fun with it. So keep going. It was kind of one of those moments, right?
It's awesome.
Yeah. It was pretty emotional.
That's amazing, dude. All right, man. Bill. Okay. I think Bill has got some fan questions. I know Tyler's got a lot of fans out there, and I could go on asking questions all day, but let's have a few fans get their questions answered. So Bill, what you got for Tyler there?
Yeah, Tyler, Dwayne Jones would like to know if you could explain the feeling of being at a Paralympic Games and how that compares to playing in the United States.
Man, oh man. Maybe this isn't a very great comparison, but going to the Paralympics compared to a tournament in the United States is like going to Disney World versus the circus that came into town for the weekend, right? Like, the scale is just incredibly different. And no offense meant to any tournaments in the States, right? They're awesome, right? But the scale is just incredibly different. The paperwork involved, the training that you get beforehand, the media coverage, the apparel you receive, the march into the stadium, the thousands of people, the flashing cameras, the sound of 6,000 people exploding when a goal happens, so you can't even hardly talk to your own teammates when they're right next to you because the whole place is going crazy. The feel is just night and day. It's the same sport. It's the same 9x18 meter court, but you can't simulate that aside from being at the Paralympics. And so anybody out there who plays goalball or has a chance to compete in the Paralympics and other sports, I would encourage you more than anything else to fight for that opportunity, because there's nothing quite like it.
All right, and Coach Keith Young wants you to talk about, for anybody watching this who may have a desire to compete for Team USA, could you briefly describe the evolution and phases of your career?
Yeah. Shout out to Coach Young. So something to realize about goalball is that goalball was invented to give blinded war veterans a form of recreation. And it's a beautiful thing to compete that way, to use it as a recreation sport. Mm-hmm. The Paralympics, however, the USA team is not recreational. It's elite. It's intense, it's challenging. So for anybody who wants to compete at that level, there's some stages to go through. The first starts with you and your physical ability, your physique. You need to be able to have great endurance. You have to have good flexibility. You have to have good core strength. You have to be fast and strong. You need to be on a good weightlifting regimen. You need to be on a good nutrition regimen. You need to take care of yourself in all the right ways. You need to get enough sleep each night. You have to be dedicated to self-improvement in all areas. And then when you have those things in hand, then it's training for the game. It's building up your skill on the court. It's connecting with the right people, the USA coaches and the USA players, and learning how to get better at those skill sets. It's driving forward every single season, and it will take you seasons. It should take years to accomplish that. But if you're dedicated enough, that's kind of the very skeleton outline trajectory that you should think about to make the USA team.
All right, last one. We got to get this one in, Kyle. From Dan Toonan, when they make the movie about your life, who do you pick to play you, or do you use the opportunity to start acting?
Funny enough, I've been interested in acting for a long time. I actually, there's some opportunities that I've had that I haven't really followed through on. I've done some voiceover stuff and things like that, but I would play myself. And when my teammates and I, after 2004, when we talked about if they made a movie about us, who would play who, they always said it would be Keanu Reeves that would play me. So I don't know if he's available or interested or not, but Bill, if you have any connections, let me know.
Will do.
Yeah, sounds good.
Love it. That's that. I can't top that question, even if I try. That's awesome. All right, Tyler, we're gonna dive into some quick lightning round questions, just some fun goofball questions, really. This one's not exactly a goofball question, but first and foremost, what's your goalball number?
Number 2. The USA number 2. Yeah, domestically tends to be 7, but lately it's whatever rolls out of the bag.
I like it. It doesn't matter what number. Tyler's always just ready to win it. All right. We know you have a pretty clean diet, in order to keep yourself, in tip-top physical peak condition. But when you guys bring home that gold medal, in Tokyo to round out the collection. What's Tyler's poison? What's Tyler's favorite post match treat? What gets you off that rock solid diet?
Oh man, this is probably gonna sound pretty lame to a lot of people. Like, really, that's your like off the wagon kind of meal. But seriously, just like a big hearty plate of like steak and potatoes. You know what I mean? Just lots of meat and carbs. Kind of.
Oh yes.
I eat tons of potatoes already, but I think after the games, I picture my wife and I going out and me ordering just a big, thick, seasoned, juicy steak. I think that's
How do you take it cooked?
I'll do medium well. I don't mind a little on the rare side, but I like a good cooked seasoned steak. That's just
all right. I'll give you my shoe to eat instead.
Okay.
I give people a hard time all the time whenever they have steak that's cooked more than rare plus. So that's just me.
Yeah. Good friend of mine says,
me.
I only want you to show my steak a picture of the grill. That's his favorite way to put it.
I love it. Do you have a favorite music genre or band or artist that you tend to lean toward?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of a heavy mix. You know, I grew up in the 90s, so I do a lot of the 90s stuff.
For sure.
But I'm a big Christian rock guy. I'm definitely a Skillet fan.
Nice.
1000 Foot Crutch.
Love it.
I'm a Breaking Benjamin fan. So any of that kind of stuff kind of get me pumped up for a good workout I'm into.
All right. Love it. I'm a big fan of all those groups actually as well. So cool. Awesome stuff, man. Dogs or cats?
Oh, dogs for sure. I can't stand cats. I'll tolerate them. I like I said, I grew up on a farm. I'm not mean to animals or anything like that. For sure. They all have their purpose, but cats are down the totem pole. Sorry to any cat fans out there, but I hate them.
I tell people it's not that I don't like cats, it's they don't like me. So
no. We had a cat for a number of years. My girls loved that cat, and the cat loved them, and the cat and I just kind of tolerated each other.
For sure.
I paid the rent, and the cat lorded over everybody. So I
Awesome. Coffee or tea?
Oh, neither, but tea if I need to.
Okay.
Not a coffee guy. My wife
Gotcha.
and I, we don't go rounds about this, but my wife's a big coffee fan and I am not, and she doesn't get it. I don't get it. Her. So agree to disagree on that one.
hey, I get you, man. I get you. Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla for me.
Vanilla. Okay. Yeah. All right. Go for that vanilla protein shake.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it. You stay up late or get up early kind of guy?
I'm a middle ground, right?
Middle ground.
If I have the opportunity to go to bed early, quote unquote early for me is probably around 8:30, 9 o'clock, right? But I would say on average it's around 10, 10:30, 11-ish. Okay. And if I have to get up early, I can definitely do it. If I can sleep in 8, 9 o'clock, I'll do that too. I like my sleep. So awesome. I'm a little middle ground on that.
Awesome. Good stuff. Are you a sparkling or plain water kind of guy?
Plain water. Tons of
plain water. All right.
Room temperature too. I know. I'm
room temp. That's not boring at all, man. That's you like to throw the curveball at people. That's all right. That's all right. Outside of goalball, do you have a favorite? What's your favorite non-goalball activity?
Favorite non-goalball activity. I've got 4 kids, right? And so 3 of them still at home with me. And I just, anything that we can do together, I really enjoy it. My wife and I go for walks all the time. All right. My daughter, my youngest one, super rambunctious, loves for me to push her on the swing and wrestle and things like that. So
nice.
Don't really have any particular hobbies outside of just when I'm not doing work, when I'm not training, I'm hanging out with the kids. So
nice. That family first, man. family,
for sure.
family first. So
For sure.
that's, I love it. I love it. All right, Tyler. How can we follow you or your company, or how can we keep up with Mr. Tyler Merren on the march to gold?
For sure. So a couple different ways that you can connect with me. I have a Facebook group, which is a great place if you're interested in learning about fitness, especially if you're visually impaired. So the group is Revision Training with Tyler Merren Fitness VIPs is the name of the group. And it's there's a little over 2,000 people in that group at this point. There lots of data around there about fitness when you're visually impaired, accessible technology, things like that. All fitness related. So great place to jump on. I'll be updating that group a lot with things that are happening with the Revision Fitness program and my road to Tokyo, things like that. But you can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email. My email, if you want to reach out to me there, it's just my name, tylermerren@gmail.com. So I'm pretty easy to find on all those social media platforms.
Awesome. Good stuff, guys. Go and go join that fitness Facebook group that Tyler's got going. Give him a follow. And Tyler, any particular special shout outs that you want to give, whether that be to close friends and family or sponsors or supporters, just people that have helped you along the way. Any special shout outs? I want to give you the opportunity to just thank your peeps.
There's 100 of them that I could really shout out to. It's just so many people who are supportive. I'll pick one, and that would be my wife. She has been super supportive of this, and even when I stepped away after 2016, I stepped away for a couple of seasons. She was very supportive of me coming back to it. She was supportive of us moving from sunny South Florida beaches to Fort Wayne, Indiana to join the residency program. And, so she tolerates a lot with it, but she is definitely my biggest fan and biggest supporter. So shout out to my wife, Leanne, who also competed this weekend in the Nashville tournament. So pretty excited. She's pretty excited to get back into it. So I'm pretty stoked about that too. But
that's awesome. Good stuff. All right, Tyler, I got one final question for you. And that is, how do you want to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered as, when it comes to goalball, at least, I'd like to be remembered as one of the best to have played the sport, but also one of the most willing and helpful athletes to have played the sport. Like I mentioned before, it's one thing to drive to be successful within yourself. It's another to turn around and give a hand to the next person in line. And so I'd like to be remembered that way within my sport, that I was great at what I did, but I was also great at bringing others along for the ride. And I think that can generally apply to my life, right? I'm doing a lot of motivational speaking. I'm helping raise my kids. My wife is homeschooling our kids. We have a lot going on in our lives. And for me, I just want to be known as a guy who's faithful and steady and, trustworthy, but somebody who's going to seek to be his best each day and to make those around him better as well.
Awesome. Mic drop there, guys.
Boom.
Oh man, Tyler, this has been just so awesome. I always love the opportunity to get to chat with you and hear you talk. Just so much experience. And I hope that all of our fans will give you a follow, give the men's Goalball team a follow. And guys, just if listening to Tyler and all these athletes that we're having on doesn't get you fired up and pumped up for Tokyo, I don't know what is going to, because I mean, every time I'm ready to run through a wall, especially today, listening to Tyler talk. But as always, guys, thank you so much, Tyler, for joining us. Guys, we're going to be we're putting out so much content these days. We're putting out interviews left and right with our Goalball athletes. We've got another one coming up, actually, coming at you. We're doing a double header this week, coming at you, back at you on Thursday with another interview. But it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with Tyler today. Guys, as always, give Tyler a follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you guys haven't signed up for the USABA newsletter, go sign up for that. We're pushing out content on that newsletter every month, letting you guys know how to get involved with things like our 100 Days to Tokyo campaign, all the stuff that's going on with our 45th anniversary here at USABA, including our 45 for 45 video series that we're doing every week, and just so much more. But once again, Tyler, thanks for joining us. I know that you've got some strength training to do coming up here in just a couple minutes. So thanks for taking some time to hang out and chat with us a little bit. Really appreciate it. You're definitely a blind athlete that has reached excellence, and you're continuing to reach excellence. And man, just let's go complete that. Let's go get that gold medal, man. I think you'd look really good with a gold, silver, and a bronze around you.
I dig it. I would wear all three of them at the same time. That'd be pretty tight.
I love it, man. Well,
thanks for doing what you do, Kyle. Thanks for having me on, man. Super appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. It's my pleasure to get to hang out with cool, awesome people like yourself. So, guys, Tyler Merren has been our guest, the grizzled veteran, 4th Paralympic Games coming up in Tokyo in just over a month. My goodness gracious. Give him a follow. Let's give all of our Goalball athletes follows, and let's get hyped up, guys. We got some hardware to go win on both the men's and women's side.
Let's do it.
All right, everybody. That's been an episode of The Blind Spot, where we talk with blind athletes reaching excellence. We'll be back with you coming up on Thursday with another interview. So until then, take it easy, keep training hard. We'll see you on the flip side.